all the vacuum hoses now replaced. Obviously it was going to be difficult for you to see what was happening, but I'm going to show you just as an example. There you go. If you can just about make that out, that's the underside of the engine mount, and that's got the new red vacuum hose attached to it. So that was routed across the steering rack and up here and round there and 5 times around the engine and up and down and onto that T-piece which is on top of the left-hand engine mount. So that's all of the engine mounts, that's all of the vacuum pipes done. Next job we're going to do is put the inlet manifold back on. We're going to have a look at it first and check out its condition. And oops, one of the fixing bolts just fell out. First thing we're going to do, I'll show you. There we go. This is the underside, the mating surface of the inlet manifold. This one doesn't have swirl flaps, so there's no actuators or anything. We don't need to delete any because it hasn't got any. But what we can see is these gaskets are well past their best. These ones are not too bad, but these ones have had it. I haven't got a spare set here, so we're just going to have to put it back on as it is, and we'll order up a new set of gaskets and we'll fit them when we take the top of the engine off next time to do the fuel injector. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to have a look in here. It's dark in there, isn't it? Does that give us enough light? See what's going on in there? I think really what I want to show you is that that's the inside of the EGR valve, and it's basically clean, it's not sooty at all, and that's probably explained by the fact that the vacuum pipe that operates the EGR valve, which attaches to there, wasn't actually attached, and even if it had been, it probably wouldn't have been pulling enough vacuum to open the valve anyway. So this has had, effectively this engine has had an EGR delete, even if it wasn't deliberate. The only other thing I've done is on this little manifold, vacuum manifold here, I the last position, the 4th position, is usually blanked off. I've taken the blank out and I've added a piece of hose up here which I'll plug, and the reason for that is that I can put a vacuum gauge on it when the engine is running and I can make sure that it's not leaking. I haven't got the vacuum gauge here at the moment, but while I've got all this accessible, I'll put the pipe on and then I can add that at a later date. So let's put the inlet manifold back on. First thing I'll do is just wipe around the inlet ports. I'm just using my finger, just to remove the small amount of debris that's lying around there, so it doesn't get knocked into the inlet track when I'm putting the manifold on. There's not much there. There's not much to do. And check the surfaces as well for the other set of inlets. They're all fine. Make sure there's no muck lying across them or anything like that that might get knocked in. They're all good. So, let's grab that. One of the fixings has lost its gasket. Let's see if I can find it. It's not the end of the world if I can't, because it's a fixing, it's not part of the inlet itself. Make sure it's not being left on top of there. No, it hasn't. Which one is it? It's the last but one up there. it's not on it. Well, just had a look around where I'd laid this down, and it's not there, so this is just going to go back on as is. When you do this, you need to pull that vacuum pipe I showed you that runs. Oh. The vacuum pipe that I showed you, which runs from the pump to the manifold, fouls, just partially fouls, and you just need to push it out the way while you're putting the manifold on. Just to make sure it clears. Okay, that's it. Dropped back into place. We'll do up all the tens first. Where's my right. I'm not going to do them up tight. I'm just going to do these up loose through. A couple of them, just to make sure everything's in the right place. Now I'm going to put all these nuts back on here. Once I've got them all installed. Very annoying not having all my tools here. I've normally got a 3/8 socket on the end of a bar, and that's perfect for this part of the job. But I don't have it here, so I can't do it. Three. There are 7, 6 cylinders, one each side. That's the number of cylinders plus 1, n plus 1. Not the one you can't see right at the back. And that leaves one. I've left this one till last because it's the difficult one to get to. Because the socket I've got here doesn't want to fit in the space available for it. But I'll put it in. Yeah, right, so we can tighten everything down now. Ooh. apologise to everybody. Matter of fact, we're just going to clatter them down. Oh, actually, I'm not going to put that on. There's a bracket that goes on here that holds the cover, but I never put the cover on. Unless I'm selling the car. Do some manual talking here. If I do it this way, I can always feel that they're all tightened up to about the same setting. Given it's a fairly long M6 and it's going into plastic, it's not particularly tight. Okay, there's those ones. So now I'm going to tighten these ones up. In here, but if I can, I'll use it, because again I can manually feel the tightness of these. Gaskets on this side of the manifold were in much better condition, so they won't need tightening all the way down. I'm less worried about air leaks in that area, because all we're trying to do is make the engine run reliably. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is put dipstick back on the side of the manifold there.